Braxton Miller's loose spin move. Miller
in the end zone. Oh, what a catch!
And he's got an opening. Elliott off to the races. Can they catch him?
It's Ohio State together at the mountaintop. Champions of college football.
The Ohio State of Mind podcast, hosted by Josh Keelan and Chris Wright. What about my music?
I've got a new age girl. Tell us what she's like. Environmental listen girl. Does she ride a bike? She has a crystal necklace. She spends a lot of cash. Her vibes are rather reckless. She's heading for a crash. Or her flowing skirt is blowing in a transcendental wind. And she wonders without knowing, where did we begin? Mary Moe!
Oh, it is the 17th of July. This is the Ohio State of Mind podcast. I'm Chris. To my right is Josh. Josh, how are we?
Doing great, man. Are you cycling through the Dumb and Dumber like discography? Is that what we're doing these next?
I just would pull out the album. That would have been great, though, wouldn't it?
Oh, dude. Well, you and I had it when we were
Yes.
kids, and we were laughing so hard when we found one of the band's name was Butthole Surfers. You remember that?
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, we were, young kids. What kids look at movies and think about soundtracks, but Dumb and Dumber was also obviously, whenever you're a kid, you hear something funny. So it's obviously the diner scene after Hall of Fame Boston Bruin and current president Boston Bruin Seabass go ahead and spits in his burger, and then you hear the song, the 2 foot of butt crack was all I could see. And as kids, we're like, oh, we got to find out all of this and find this album and consume it and go to our local CD store and buy that. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Speaking of former athletes who turn into movie stars, I'll have to bring on the show my prize Jeff Ulenig 8x10 of him pissing in the urinal in Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he wrote already then on the 8x10.
Now is the photo the look that he gives them, or the prance he run when he goes after him? Okay,
it's the look.
Hell yeah!
What a great movie.
It's been a week since we've convened. Josh, anything out there, Buckeye news or anything outside the Buckeye realm? I know you're the guy that people can go to when it comes to a lot of these little less than traditional football leagues as well. Anything of note, if you would?
Yeah, so the biggest thing I saw was that Jacob Weatherspoon, people were pretty pumped about his commitment a while ago. He's an Ohio safety in the class of 2025, 26.
Okay.
Jeez, I lost the date there. He decommitted like 2 days ago, and he committed to Bill Belichick and the Tar Heels.
North Carolina,
So everybody's pretty much up in arms. Now, you know me, Chris, and I think our crowd knows me as well. I'm not a recruiting expert by any means, nor do I claim to be. But this is kind of a big deal because A, he's really good. B, he's from Ohio. And C, they're losing in North Carolina. Like, that's not something you see all the time. So there's a couple different reasons why this is interesting, and all of them are unfortunate. So that was kind of the biggest one.
Do we think that? I mean, we've been hearing that the Buckeyes this season and beyond are getting a lot of young, phenomenal defensive backs. That maybe we'll see these defensive backs see the field a lot sooner than later. Do we think that is a main contributing factor, or did Bill say, "Hey, come check out my 24-year-old girlfriend"?
Yeah, and I think that Bill's throwing away. I think that he's getting the donors together. I know that they're one of the few schools that have actually hired an actual GM and Michael Lombardi.
Yeah.
Right? Is that right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So I don't know if they're valuing defensive backs more, and maybe that's where their NIL allotment's going towards. Some of those details we're not going to find out till later. I know that some people on social media were like, "Oh, he doesn't want to come compete." I don't think that that's it with him. because he wouldn't have committed to begin with. It's not like anything has changed since then. So I'm thinking it's probably more Bill Belichick is going to be swinging a much larger dick than we anticipated. I think.
I can see that as well. I think the biggest thing that everyone's thinking of it, he was an Ohio kid, and for an Ohio kid to jump ship, but to jump to a program with a less prestige to it, and also with less than positive outlook from where he's leaving. But we're not.
I'm not shitting on. I want to be very clear. I'm not shitting on North Carolina. North Carolina is a very, they are they Ohio State as far as prestige goes. No, but that doesn't. That capability is there. I mean, there's been a hell of a lot of talent to go through those halls in Chapel Hill. I mean, Julius Peppers, Lawrence Taylor, Ronald Curry, the Giovanni Bernard. I mean, there's been a lot of talent at UNC. Hakeem Nicks, right? Drake May, right? The list.
Mitch Trubisky,
another Ohio guy. The list goes on, and so it's not necessarily a shot at North Carolina. But if he's not a quarterback, I don't. It's just it doesn't. Ohio State is much closer to DBU. I don't think anybody would argue against that. So it's odd. I don't know, man. We're gonna find out more. It's also odd too because we're so close to signing day.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels like a lot can happen. I know a lot can happen. It wouldn't surprise me if Weatherspoon flipped back to Ohio State in 2 days. It's weird. It's just a weird thing that's happening. It's just weird.
Well,
we're not talking about a Florida kid. We're talking about an Ohio kid.
No, you're right. But it's also it's the second half of July, and it seems like almost in every sport, the mid to ascent of July is where all of the money is spent in a good majority of sports, other than baseball. You see a majority of baseball big contracts being signed in the winter. They call them the December months. They call them the winter meetings. But right now, you've got a baseball trade deadline coming up. You've got we're slowly ramping into college football.
Yeah,
you're seeing NBA contracts being handed out. You're seeing NFL teams getting key players signed before camp starts too. I wonder if it's something we're going to see here in the future. I think that the signing day, I think it all lines up and it's a perfect storm. But it's obviously lines up for absolutely no gaps in any sports coverage and media during these months either.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
It definitely seems like this is a month where everyone picks and chooses their day of if there's any news, like let me go ahead and go sign a deal somewhere, or let me go tell my agent that I'm going to do it on this day so I can be the only sports news in town kind of thing too. But again, let's be real. It's a high school kid, but it's not like LeBron signing some mega deal and the kid's like, all right, LeBron signed today. I'll sign tomorrow. I'll let LeBron have his day.
Hey, but that's what the recruiting cycle is turning into, though. There are guys that are scheduling their commitments and yada 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 based around other guys. So you're not too far off. So we're getting there.
No, I definitely feel that. For some Buckeye related news, speaking of big money, Garrett Wilson, former Buckeye stud. We talked about him a few weeks ago on our recruiting breakdown, how great he was. He went ahead and signed a 4-year, $130 million contract extensions, which made him one of the highest paid receivers in the NFL. To give you a little bit of breakdown of the details of this deal, it's $90 million guaranteed, which is the fourth most ever for a wide receiver. It will, in fact, mark the first time in NFL history that a receiver will receive an average of $31 million after only playing for 3 seasons. And, of course, this $31 million, this extra 4 years on top of the 1 year remaining on his contract is it's only an extra $1.5 million, bringing it to $32.5 million on your average, which is the 5th most are the 5th highest amongst receivers currently in the NFL. Very well deserved. Let's be real. Garrett Wilson, he has done this as a New York Jet, and it's growing up. You and I, besides maybe Chad Pennington for a couple years or Vinny Testaverde, it is definitely without question a revolving door of quarterbacks. But Garrett Wilson is 3 years of 1,000 yards already, and now he's reunited with Justin Fields. I think you reward the guy for sticking with the team. Then he could go and want to link up with star-studded quarterbacks, but he is a Jet. He's a Jet for the next 4 or 5 years, and he went to Twitter earlier saying, "Yep, Jet green running through my veins since the day they drafted me, despite the ups and downs. Faith is mutual. That means the world to me. Excited to start the new version of the chase next week. #JetUp." Josh, what do we think about Garrett Wilson?
Yeah, man, he deserves it. They got a bargain, in my opinion. I mean, like you said, he's been in the NFL for 3 years with a myriad of quarterbacks throwing him the ball, most of them shitty. I shouldn't say that. They get a lot of supremely talented quarterbacks that either did not develop the way they needed to mentally, or they were aging to a point where they were decrepit, right? Joe Flacco, Aaron Rodgers, or like you say, Zach Hill. Most of those guys threw a pretty ball, though. I must say that. But he's able to be productive and competitive on that team, a team that's also had a defensive-minded coach for most of that, right? So that's extremely impressive. So they got a deal. I talked to a Jets scout a couple of years ago when it was right before Aaron Rodgers blew out his knee the season opener, and they were stoked. They were talking about how Garrett Wilson, they couldn't wait to see Garrett Wilson explode. Someone was asking him, they said, "How's Aaron Rodgers? How's Aaron Rodgers?" And they said, "Dude, Aaron Rodgers has been awesome. He's been great. He's so cool to watch. But the coolest thing, the thing that's really going to blow everybody's mind is how great Garrett Wilson can be with Aaron Rodgers." And they were like, "What do you mean?" And they said the problem with Zach Wilson was so uptight about how things needed to be. He didn't have any flexibility, but he said some of the stuff he was seeing in training camp with Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson connecting would just blow your mind. It was like they were anticipating where to go, and he was able to be more freelance. And it's upsetting that we didn't get to see that really take its stride. We saw it a little bit last year. Aaron Rodgers was starting to get healthy, but it was over. They fired their coach. The team just fell apart, right? So hopefully, I think Justin Fields is better than a lot of people think. I think Justin Fields has landed in a great spot to resurge his career. Call me biased, maybe I am, but I think there's still some talent there. I think we saw that last year with Pittsburgh, and Garrett Wilson's going to be the best wide receiver he's had. So I think there's still some opportunity for Garrett Wilson to play a huge role in revitalizing Justin Fields' career. So we'll see what happens.
No, you're absolutely right. And I did forget that first season Garrett Wilson came on, and you did have Zach Wilson. No, and
who
of
was
course
the other guy? There's two highly drafted guys, right?
Zach Wilson, and you're right. There was another guy. No, to add on to say again.
Darnold was the first one there, right?
Yep, Sam Darnold. Yeah. No, 1,000 yards. Each season. Killed it. Awesome. Love it. I mean, but also that's 80 plus receptions in the NFL, all 3 seasons too. That is without question impressive in my book. Also, other news, Buckeye related.
Can I add one more thing?
Please.
One thing about Garrett Wilson. I just never want to see him wear those weird loose sleeves again.
You brought that up, and I have a buddy who is a Jets fan, and I'm like, well, hey, he locked him up. You can get the jersey, but if you're going to get a jersey, make sure you get one with the goofy loose sleeves.
Yeah, dude.
Exactly what I said to him.
I think the Redskins, they retired Art Monk's jersey like the other day. So I was watching Art Monk highlights, and he's like wearing the same style of jersey as Garrett Wilson, like 30 years ago or 40 years ago. I'm like, whoa, dude, what's going on? Yeah.
No, I'm definitely with it. Other Buckeye news: Ohio State director of player personnel Sam Petito. He is leaving Ohio State. He is going back home to LSU. He was the assistant athletic director of player personnel. He's going back to his home state in Louisiana. He is a native of Amite, Louisiana. Not sure where it is, but I did in fact look that up. He will serve as LSU's director of scouting personnel and strategy. He did spend only 1 year with the Buckeyes, but obviously he earned a national championship ring during that 2024 campaign. But also at the same time, this isn't the first time Petito was supporting a title winner. He worked under Nick Saban for the final 8 years of that Alabama dynasty with Saban, obviously getting his national title as a staffer in 2017 and 2020. Petito also spent 2 years as Georgia's director of player personnel. I can here to tell you that for the director of player personnel in Georgia, Petito got his ass out of Dodge. His career also included stops over North Carolina, Grambling State, and Southern Louisiana. Ohio State now, with Petito's departure, they look forward to hiring its fourth new director of player personnel under Mark Pantonia in as many years. Before that, Zach Grant held the position. He was one and done in 2022, and before becoming the GM for Cincinnati. And then Mark Boatletter, who left for Mississippi State after his lone season in 2023. And 1 year. Like we said, Petito is out as well. Any thoughts on this, Josh?
No, man. No relation to Gabby Petito, right? You nailed that down.
No, we did come together and we did converse. We had to make sure that we compared notes and we were on the right side of history of this one. But no, not any relation. Even though it's all, I mean, technically it's all history now. Too soon?
No, not at all.
Okay. Send it. Full send it.
Listen, Netflix AI your voice, so it's free game.
That's true. God, imagine if they did that to us, or they would just get clipped. You imagine if something happened to you and I, and they just pulled shit from this podcast. That's it.
Yep, that'd be rough.
That'd be rough.
I don't. It's not. Him leaving is not going to end the world. I don't. At the end of the day, I don't care. We're not. It's not Mark Pantoni, right? So
right.
So that would be the big miss as far as roster construction at Ohio State.
No, I wholeheartedly agree with you. And last but not least, we've got to address the elephant in the room as well. Quinshon Judkins, current Cleveland Browns running back, allegedly.
Oh, really? Has not signed.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Current Cleveland Brown running back draft pick. A Cleveland Brown draft pick. What the fuck am I saying? Allegedly punched his girlfriend in the mouth with a closed fist, leaving her visibly bruised on the chin area, according to a police report that was related to a July 7th incident. What begins to make a lot of this murky was that this July 7th incident wasn't reported until the 12th of July. Apparently this incident, it began in a Fort Lauderdale airport where Judkins and this woman arrived after a flight, and the rookie was arrested and was charged with a misdemeanor domestic battery in I think it's Broward County, Florida.
Yep.
Like you said, Judkins, former Buckeye, 21 years old, 36th overall pick by the Cleveland Browns, have yet to sign. Once he was approached at the baggage claim, what people are saying allegedly around him was saying he grew very angry at the baggage claim, saying, "Wow, I can't believe you. I'm so done with you." Blah 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 blah. I'm not here to victim blame, Josh. We are both Buckeye fans. We are fans of Quinshon Judkins on the field. We would both sit here and say that as sports fans, it's odd to say that you were, physically, it was in a physical altercation and then wait another 5 days until reporting it. There's a lot of murkiness here. What do we kind of? No, I agree. does being a Cleveland Brown fan as you are, anything else? I'm sure you've probably kicked the tires and done a little bit of your due diligence on this one.
No, I mean, not really. Yeah, I do. First of all, I do find it odd that the Browns have done this twice now. They drafted Michael Hall last year, who immediately beat the shit out of his girlfriend, and now they're drafted Quinshon Judkins, another Buckeye in the second round, who beat the shit out of his girlfriend. It's just weird how that's happening twice in a row.
Yeah.
Quinshon Judkins, every time I've met him, every time I talked to him, he's been an upstanding individual, super nice, super awesome. But that doesn't mean I don't know him as a human being. I don't know him as I don't know. 5 days. I know that's being labeled as like murky or odd. In my line of work, I see a lot of police reports get filed a week or two later. The process is weird. The process is odd. It's not fun. Especially in a situation like this, you're thinking about it. You're not thinking about it. We've seen weirder. We've seen people wait 6 months, a year to file reports like this. I feel like that's much more murky. This, I don't put too much stock in the timeline. He clearly, it feels like he was probably in the wrong here. It feels like something definitely happened. I don't know. That's not my call, right? I want to make a joke, but I feel like I already used my sexist joke on the Sam Petito thing. So I gotta put that in my back pocket. But yeah, no, it's unfortunate. The Browns thing is, I hate to make it. It's a football podcast, so unfortunately, that's what we're going to focus on, and it's going to make the contract negotiations weird because he was kind of holding out to get more guaranteed money. Well, if you're the Browns, you hold all the cards now because this guy's beating the shit out of women. So,
yeah, you do, and now, well, I think it's funny that if you go to look at it, as I think currently right now there are only 3 draft picks that are left unsigned, and I think 2 of them are Buckeyes. And the third one was a player drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals that's holding out.
Who's the other one? Who's the other Buckeye?
TreVeyon Henderson is yet to sign.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Wow.
TreVeyon Henderson is yet to sign. No, like I said, all of this is alleged, this, that, and the third. It's like I said, the coincidence that Michael Hall Jr.
Weird, right?
was the same team, same thing as the year previous.
And there was no murkiness to that one, Chris, as we all remember.
No, there was no murkiness.
That one was
there was absolutely no murkiness to that at all. But what we're gonna talk about is this is the third week in a row that we have covered Big Ten previews. We have made it all the way. We started with Illinois, and now made it all the way to Northwestern. And I really don't think we're anywhere closer to done. I think we've got another 2 weeks of this, my friend.
Yep.
I think we got another 2 weeks.
And then after that, we need to talk about our college football Big Ten fantasy football draft and who we're going to invite. We'll talk about that off air sometime. But yeah, dude, enough talking about the abuse of women, and let's ride on into the abuse.
He said, and he said, let me state, I wanted to cover this not at all. This was his idea.
I want to make my stance. So here, I want to make my stance on both issues very clear. Beating women, bad. Car wash, hazing, pretty good, pretty funny, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a bad dude. I see no issues. Pat Fitzgerald got fucked, bro. Just want to point that out. But now that we're diving into Northwestern.
Also, I want to make sure that while we're at it, I bring up the Ohio State of Mind podcast's very first sponsor. This segment for the Big Ten preview is brought to you by Nature Spring Water, the water bottle with the cap. Both myself and George Keatley approve.
That's right.
Nature Springs.
That's right.
Yeah.
Shout out to Pops Keatley. Yeah.
There it is. We made it. We've made it all the way to Northwestern, my friend. We are going to talk about Northwestern and the outlook, what they return this season as well. Give me 1 second so I can take
Dude, why you're doing
Nah.
that? I just think
Here we
it's so funny. We're literally talking about like domestic violence. There's so many things going on in the world, and then Pat Fitzgerald gets fired because guys are putting their dicks on other dudes' heads and shit. Like, it's so stupid.
It's
And it's not like he made him do it. It's not like he's like, "Hey, put your dick on his head, goddamn, he's a freshman." He deserves. It's like, it's so
no,
stupid. It's so dumb.
I totally agree. And you know what? That's the thing too. And it's like if it was how long was Pat Fitzgerald with Northwestern again? You'd have to tell me.
Dude, like 30 fucking years, bro. Remember, he played there, and then he.
I mean, he was the stud, the All-American there, absolutely.
Yeah, we did some gross shit when I was in college. We always did gross shit. That's what you do. That's what you do, dude. Did some gross shit, bro. I got stories, bro. There are a lot of dick stories.
I know. We go ahead and say some of those. You're going to be in a Quinshon Judkins TMZ article.
Yeah. If only.
This week we're starting off with Northwestern Wildcats. We're talking about the over/under for win totals, and we're, of course, again, we are talking of the over/under for regular season win totals. Northwestern. I'm going to let Josh take it away, but just right off the rip, they face a challenging 2025. They've got a tough schedule, and they have had significant. I mean, when I say tough schedule, a tough schedule for a Northwestern team that has historically struggled here over the last decade, minus a season or two. Yeah, minus a season or two. Don't get me wrong. And of course, they've got some significant roster turnover from last year as well, and they've got some new players to integrate. Which include SMU transfer quarterback Preston Stone. He's going to try to find a way to improve a disappointing 2024 campaign. Couple key offensive player we'll talk about, Cam Porter, who has been a Northwestern Wildcat for the better part of what seems like a decade, and some good returning parts on the defensive front of the ball as well. But Josh, go ahead and take away with the Northwestern Wildcats.
Yeah, and so you nailed it. First of all, I don't think Northwestern's always tough. They're just always tough. That's toughness is slowly fading away under David Braun, because Pat Fitzgerald ran a tight program. He was very good at what he did. Whatever. You're right. They brought in Preston Stone. Preston Stone is going to be a transfer. Started at SMU last year. He's technically the highest rated recruit ever to join the Northwestern football team as a former 5-star recruit. He got benched kind of unfairly a little bit at SMU. I say that, and then Kendall Jennings, the quarterback that replaced him, took SMU to the playoffs. So what do I know? But he wasn't like horrible, is my point. So I think that is going to be a vast improvement for Northwestern. I was a big Jack Lausch guy. I thought he was really impressive. I thought he moved around well. He was young. I liked his potential, but I don't think this is a bad move. I probably would have wrote it out with him. But David Braun's probably staring at a somewhat mild sauce of a seat. So I don't have an issue with this. At running back, like you said, Cam Porter is going to be back. Joseph Hyman, he was kind of the second back. I had him on my fantasy team last year, so he had a couple games where he kind of popped. Definitely a fairly talented player. At wide receiver, they bring in Griffin Wild from South Dakota. I got a little South Dakota State. I apologize. Okay. He was borderline FCS All-American. That's a guy that's going to come in, start, compete, be very good. I would consider that a pretty big get in the transfer portal. They also brought in Chase Farrell. I don't know if Chase Farrell is going to be an impact guy at receiver. He's like their speedster from Stanford. Yeah, we have to. Every single transfer gets somewhat hype because everybody's like, "Oh, that's the new guy." I don't know if we have to be able to delineate and separate what's real. I don't know if Chase Farrell's going to be a guy that lights the world on fire. I mean, AJ Henning transferred there, who was faster from Michigan and did very little.
Yeah,
so this guy's not as good as him. So I don't know. I think you're better off. You're probably going to see some Frank Covey. Frank Covey's probably going to be that number 2 receiver who was okay. Northwestern really shines on the offensive line. There's still a lot of toughness there. They retained Caleb Tiernan. That's a fringe. I don't want to say All-American, but fringe first team All Big Ten guy. Definitely a future NFL draft pick at tackle. That was a big save for them because he was kind of dangling with the portal. Jack Bailey is going to be their starting center again. He was out a majority of last year. He's a very competitive player, very good player. I would get a fringe All Big Ten guy. Then they brought in Evan Bjornston from South Dakota State and Xavier Gray from Liberty. Those guys are going to play immediately. Those are probably going to be upgrades. So I think that the strength of the Northwestern offense is going to be on that offensive line. Defense, classic Northwestern defense, very, very good up front. Anto Saka and Aiden Hubbard. Aiden Hubbard was leading sacker last year. He returned. Saka is going to be an NFL draft pick. Those guys are not transfers. Those guys are homegrown talent from Northwestern who are very good. Miguel Jackson is the transfer on the interior from defensive tackle. Najee Story and Carmine Barstone, they return on the interior. This is a very, very good Northwestern defensive line. This is a very, very good Northwestern defensive line. At linebacker, they're going to miss Xander Mueller, who's the leading tackler. He was the leading tackler 2 years ago, but they do return Mac Uline, who was the leading tackler last year, and they bring in a Purdue transfer, Yardi Karloftis, who is the brother of George Karloftis.
George's brother, yep.
Yeah, so they should be okay there. They also got a young guy in Braden Bruss who's going to see some time. I know that they really like him. The defensive backfield is also going to be okay. They bring in a transfer from Jacksonville State and Fred Davis at corner. They return Josh Fussell and Braden Turner at the other corner spots. Or Adeyi was another player that played a lot of time at cornerback, missed all of last season. He's going to be returning back. So you get some guys that are returning from injury. You get some transfers that are okay. That Northwestern defense, I think, is going to be pretty good. The Northwestern offense, again, I think that Preston Stone is good. I don't know if that's enough to make this team competitive. But if you're ready to dive into the schedule, I'd be more than happy to do that.
Absolutely. Let's start her off, my friend.
Okay. All right. So obviously, if you guys have listened to the last couple shows, you know that we go through each schedule. We give you the games that we think are automatic wins, games that we think are automatic wins, and then our 50-50 games at the end of the schedule. We compile those and try to figure out where we're at. So like you said, the win total on DraftKings is currently set at 3.5. Very first game, right off the rip, they play at Tulane. I think this is an automatic L. What are your thoughts there?
I'm sorry, I'm having a storm outside. You said that was automatic. What for you?
An L. I think that's an automatic L.
I would agree out of just sheer lack of knowledge in this one. I knew that Tulane had Makai Hughes, who also transferred to a Big Ten school this season. I don't know what they returned, but Northwestern on the road going to Tulane week 1. I'm taking that as a loss as well, my friend.
Yeah, Darian Mensah, their quarterback, has left too. So this is definitely, Willie Fritz is no longer their head coach there. Tulane is not the powerhouse they used to be. But you're playing in New Orleans, and Northwestern is not exactly a powerhouse either. So maybe it's more 50-50 that I give it credit for. But in this exercise, I did give it an automatic L. They do play Western Illinois, the Leathernecks, who I actually played them. So that gives you an idea of the talent level of Western Illinois. I do think that is the first automatic dub we see from Northwestern on the schedule. What are your thoughts?
Yep, I think that's the Big Ten Friday night game, and that's a dub.
Yeah. Next game, they play Oregon. They do get Oregon at home. I don't think anybody's going to confuse that for a win, though.
No, not sure.
Okay. Next game. This is the first fit. This is my only 50-50 game on the schedule. It's the only game I really struggle with. They get UCLA at home. UCLA is going to be breaking in Nico. I don't have a lot of faith in Deshaun Foster, even though they started strong last year. I'm thinking Northwestern is still tough enough to really pound some West Coast pussy. It's a 50-50 game. It's a 50-50 game, but I do lean Northwestern here. But I have it as a 50-50 game. Chris, what are your thoughts?
I could give this a 50-50 game because it's still early in the season, early enough in the season. We're going to talk about Northwestern we're going to talk about UCLA in 2 weeks, but it's significant travel early in the season as well. One thing goes one way, one ball bounces one way, and what have you. It could be a post game. Don't get me absolutely wrong. I think UCLA will more than likely have more talent, but college football factors are college football factors. But I'm comfortable with it in the game.
Yeah, perfect. They play Louisiana Monroe the next week. I do think that's an automatic win. UL Monroe is usually sitting the dweller of the Sun Belt, so I think that's an automatic dub. You agree or disagree? We got a frozen there. But you're back.
No, I'm sorry. It's like a monsoon outside. UL Monroe. Yeah.
I got it as an automatic dub. You got it as an automatic dub?
They're getting their second dub of the season, guaranteed.
Perfect. Now they play at Penn State and Happy Valley. Again, I don't think anybody here is going to be saying this is a 50-50 game. I think we're both going to confidently say Northwestern's going to get their ass kicked in.
It wouldn't be other than the highlights.
Perfect. Okay. Next game, Purdue at a neutral site. Man, I really like the Barry Odom hire. I really do. I don't think that they're going to be ready for Northwestern. I'm going to go with an automatic. This is my next automatic dub, my last automatic dub for Northwestern. I think that they can still jump on the weak-ass Purdue. It's early enough to where Barry Odom can't work his magic yet.
No, I would agree too. Please remind me, though, where is this neutral site game being played?
Chicago, right? Isn't it Wrigley?
Okay, so you're right. I guess all.
Isn't it Wrigley?
You might be.
Let's look.
I remember they played in Wrigley last year as well, yeah?
I thought so. I'm pretty sure it's in Wrigley again. Oh, good. The dogs are barking. Yay. Yeah, I think it's in Wrigley. So there we go. So what do you agree on Mac Dub or?
Yeah, I think they beat Purdue. I mean,
Okay.
Every ounce of anything that Purdue had last year has left the front door. So
All right. Okay. And then now we got. I'm just going to rip these games off. At
Please.
at Nebraska, at USC, Michigan neutral site, Minnesota neutral site, at Illinois. That, my friend, is 5 big old L's. Do you see any 50-50 game in there?
no, that's a nickel loss, my friend.
Okay. All right. So let's evaluate the schedule. DraftKings has a line of 3.5. You and I said 3 automatic W's. 150-50 game. 150-50 game. They
That's
have
how
to
it
win it to hit it. Huh?
So that's how it be.
I have enough faith in that game. Again, I'm not running to the counter. I have not put my own money on this, but I do have enough faith in them to win that game. I think that I would take the over here. I think that they can get 4 wins. I don't think 4 wins is unreasonable, and I don't think it's unreasonable for someone to tear an ACL or get their life be destroyed and then get another win.
No, I wholeheartedly believe that as well. I think 4 wins are absolutely attainable. But
Yeah.
what makes me want to take the under here is that 4 wins is their absolute ceiling is the problem.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You are wishing, you're not wishing, but you are hoping that like one of these teams that they play at the back end of the year just completely disappears. Like, Bryce Underwood is a bust. Minnesota can't figure it out. You're hoping one of those teams kind of falls off a cliff too. Obviously,
Right.
100% versus 100%, the ceiling is 4 wins. But yeah, I think I would lean the over, just betting on the fact that I think that something's probably going to break. But that's it. That's what I got.
You're almost talking me into it because again, UCLA was both of our 50 games, but it's college football,
Yep.
and Northwestern is going to surprise someone and get theirs. I'd be 100% comfortable taking the over, and if it hit, if it didn't, I wouldn't be hurt at all.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I can
Give me
see
a tight
both.
one.
It's I mean, and it was a 4-win season last year as well. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Matching that win total from the previous season.
Yep. Is that right? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Yep.
Okay. Moving on. Who would have thunk it? We've got the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yeah.
Their next 3 teams we're going to be covering here over under 10.5 wins. We're talking 10 plus wins for 3 Big Ten teams. Yeah.
There's no. If these next three teams don't make it to the playoffs, someone's going to get fired out of the three. One would think.
Yeah. Let's be real. We're a Buckeye podcast. I don't need to tell you that Jeremiah Smith's back. I don't need to tell you that Caleb Downs is back. We're all excited to see the involvement in the passing game with the tight end play of Max Clare. 10.5 wins. Josh, do you want to cover anything for the Buckeyes here?
No, man. I don't want to read. We've talked about this roster all spring, right? Julian Sain's going to get the first crack at the starting quarterback. Very highly rated recruit. Came here because of Bill O'Brien after Nick Saban retired from Alabama. Stayed after Bill O'Brien left. Big things. Super quick release. Everybody's excited. At running back, you got a tandem of James Peoples, very highly touted freshman, put on some weight, looks really good in the spring. CJ Donaldson, who was the lead back at West Virginia 2 years ago, lost some weight, got some light into the Thunder. Wide receiver, you got Jeremiah Smith, Cardinal Tate, Brandon Ennis. You covered it. That mixed with Max Clare, that's the best receiving group in all of college football. Offensive line should be okay. You got Ethan Onyinawa, transfer from Rice. Luke Montgomery, Carson Hinsman, Trevor Shabola, Austin Severo. We've talked about these guys 1,000 times. The defensive line, you got Kadiana Jackson, Edric Houston, Caden McDonald, Caden Curry. Again, we talked about those guys 1,000 times. They should show up. Logan George, we've talked about him, transfer from Idaho State. He's very good. Looked very good in the spring. Bo Atkinson from North Carolina. Don't sleep on him. Late addition. Might be a guy that does some damage. At linebacker, Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, Peyton Pierce, CJ Hicks. Or CJ Hicks are moving him to edge, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Very, very competitive group. Defensive backs, I think you got the best defensive backfield in the country, in my opinion. I know there's some argument here. That might be my hottest take about this Ohio State roster, is I do think that the defensive backs is the best defensive backfield in all of college football. You got Caleb Downs, who's one of the best safeties ever to play the game at Ohio State. David Igbinosun, who I think he had. You and I differ on how good we think he is. I think he has a first round potential. There's no debate, though. He has first round physical talent, his speed, his size, his length, all that stuff. The part that helped Davison back is the pass interference calls. He led the country in that last year. All rumors are that he cleaned that up in the spring. If he did, he's going to be devastating. Jermaine Matthews Jr., that's the guy who took over for Denzel Burke when he got benched last year. Another supreme athlete. I think he's going to be great. Probably going to be an early round draft pick as well. Lorenzo Styles Jr. is going to probably play that nickel role, replace Jordan Hancock. And I think Lorenzo Styles Jr. is very good. This is a guy with a very high ceiling. The son of Lorenzo Styles Sr., the brother of Sonny Styles. Played wide receiver at Notre Dame, so he's still working out the kinks of the defensive back. Very, very good. Malik Hartford's probably going to be that other safety. Very high potential there. Former 5-star, 4-star guy. I think this defensive back group is going to be great. But like I said, that's probably my hottest take. But if you want to dive into the schedule, we can certainly do so.
No, we can certainly do that. I know. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Give me. We'll be skewed a bit when it comes to you're kind of winning me over when it comes to the defensive backfield. I'm a little bit more, excited than I was, 2 months ago. But going into the schedule, they're going to get tested early. They're going to get tested early, and we might be praising them, we might be, saying the sky is falling, but it's game one. It's one game of the season. But no, I'm excited to see.
Yeah, man. There's just a lot of physical ability on this team. I mean, Jermaine Matthews is the one that probably doesn't fit the cookie cutter mold of an NFL draft pick. But even he's played lights out. I mean, he replaced Denzel Burke last year, who was the number one guy. So, there's lots to like. But let's dive into the schedule. First game of the year, Texas. You get Texas at home. I think we both are going to agree this is a 50-50 game. I lean Ohio State. I think it's going to take a lot for a guy like Arch Manning to get his – I mean, I know it's not his first start, but it's his first start versus a meaningful opponent in hostile territory. So I lean Ohio State, but I will, in the church, to be as objective as possible, I'll label it as a 50-50 game.
I'm labeled as a 50-50 game. Let's be real. It's week one. How many times do we see – teams light the world on fire or have a big upset on a Saturday night, Sunday night, and they just shoot up that rankings, and you and I sit here Sunday morning, like, holy shit, did you see this one win? Look at this ranking. Look at this, and we complain about rankings versus predictions and this, that, and the third. It's 50-50 game for me. But, I mean, let's be real. It's the hottest ticket in town on Saturday, the 30th of August.
Yep. Absolutely. Next games, we got some dubs that we're going to rip off. Grambling at home, Ohio at home, at Washington. I know that's kind of a hot take. A lot of Washington is becoming a sleeper team for some people. I don't know why. In my eyes, it is not. Minnesota at home. I think that you're ripping off, 4 wins right there in a row. Do you disagree? Are any of those games 50-50 games in your eyes?
No, not at all. It is a bummer that the first night game for the home night game for the Buckeyes is versus the Bobcats in week 3. Also, I would be interested to see what that kickoff time is for that Washington game as well. Going around to my neck of the woods, I need to go ahead and see if I can get some tickets. I am anticipated being home for that Grambling State game, but knowing Uncle Sam, there's a chance I get pushed a week or two to the right. So it'd be nice. I'd love to go.
Yeah. All right. Okay, perfect. Next game I do have is a 50-50 game. They're playing at Illinois. We talked about Illinois earlier with the first episode. They're tough. They return everybody. They got a good quarterback. They got a good offensive line. I don't think that's going to be an easy win. That'll be the first hostile game, I believe, for Julian Sand in Champaign, Illinois. So I got it as a 50-50 game. And honestly, I'd probably lean Illinois at this point if I was making that right now.
We talked about it last week. As soon as we saw it, like, hey, this is their big test. It's the sleeper game for the Buckeyes. Julian Sand is going to come into a hostile environment. He's going to lead on his veterans. Illinois brings out everybody. Illinois' schedule, it's set up that this is the game that puts them on the map when it comes to the playoff conversation. If they could get this win, this is the first early half or third of the season. It's their statement maker. It's a 50-50 game for me. It's just solely because, like I said, they get it at home too. And, everything's kind of working in their favor. They've got, they're going to have – that place is going to be the loudest that Champaign's been in a long time for that game. It's going to be good. And I hope it gets to be a night game, I hope it's a night game.
Yeah.
That's one of you and I sit here and we talk about, hey, we don't give a damn about noon games, this, that, and the third. That's a game I would like to see at night. I would like to see a little bit more added height to this game because it's two teams that are very good. It's Bielema and everything that was last year of we should have been. We'll actually look at our numbers, this, that, and the third. I mean, it was definitely taken to heart, and everybody in that program, it seems, bought in, and they've come back to put together a stellar team.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we're gonna. I think that by the time that game rolls around, there's gonna be a lot more hype around it. But yeah, we both agree it's a 50-50 game. Next game, I think it's an automatic dub. I know it's a back-to-back away game, but Wisconsin blows. We've kind of talked about that. Ohio State should just beat them into the ground. You agree?
I agree.
Okay. Next game. This is my next 50-50 game. They do get Penn State at home, so I think that helps. But we talked about Penn State building a rock star of a roster. So that is definitely a 50-50 game to me. And at this point, if I had, gun to my head, I'm probably taking Penn State. They have more experience and they probably have more top end talent as far as their depth goes. So
yeah, I'm going to leave this a 50-50 game. This is my who's got the ball last kind of game. If I were to sit here and if you were just, you like to use it, if I had a gun to my head, if I had to sit here with a gun to my head and you were telling me I've got only one choice of a 50-50 game this year, I'm taking it for Penn State, even though Penn State's coming into the horseshoe.
Yep. No, I completely agree. Next game, I got 3 wins right in a row. At Purdue, UCLA, Rutgers.
Bang, bang, bang. 3 in a row, buddy.
Got it. Next game, last game, at Michigan, baby. Obviously, I think we have to make it a 50-50 game. Based purely on the fact that Ryan Day cannot seem to beat them. But with that said, gun to my head, I think this is the year. I think Ryan Day's got a new swagger about him. I'm going to put it as a 50-50 game, but I do think that shit's going to look different come November. But what do you
No,
think? 50 game
it's
or
a
automatic loss?
it's a 50-50 game. It's Ryan Day. We hope that he's got this monkey off his shoulder. He's got the swag to him. It's can he keep a young quarterback under control? Nerves not through the roof, and just playing and sticking to a game plan and doesn't give a game away in the horseshoe. But it's a 50-50 game. I think the Buckeyes win, but there's nobody sitting here that's going to say it's not a 50-50 game. Nobody's sitting here watching say it isn't.
Dude, our boy Colby, I was listening to his Ohio State preview show. Big shout out to Colby.
Yeah.
And he basically put this as automatic L. He's like, I will never bet on Ohio State to beat Michigan again.
It's funny you said that because Colby popped up organically in my YouTube and I watched it. And I watched the segment of he was talking about he went on vacation and he had a Buckeye fan and talking and chatting him up and blah blah blah. He's like, yeah, but I hate Dave. He's like, dude, brother, you just won a national championship. He's like, yeah, he needs fired.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So let's summarize this up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 automatic wins.
Yeah.
Win totals 10.5.
Right.
We got 3 games up for debate.
Yeah.
They have to win all 3. That seems
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Did I do it wrong? They have to win 2 of the 3?
9, 10, 11, 12. Well, I mean, we had 4 that were maybes. Texas.
Oh, you're right.
Illinois, Penn State, and Michigan.
There's something about Michigan. There's something about it, dude. I automatically put it as, so we got 4. We got 4 50-50 games. That's 8. So they gotta win 3 of the 4.
They have to win 3 of the 4.
I'm not betting that. I'm taking the under. I'm not betting the under, but I would take the under. If it were me, how you bet on Ohio State is you bet on Ohio State to I should have brought up the odds. Let me pull up the odds. I think you have to bet on Ohio State to be in the Big Ten to win the Big Ten championship. I think that's the way to go because they theoretically could win 10 games. The Texas game screws you up, right?
Yeah.
If you lose the Texas. Theoretically, if you lose the Texas game and you lose the Illinois game, you can still win the Big Ten championship. So I think that's where you go with this if you want to bet on Ohio State.
I could believe that. Yeah.
I don't think you take the win total. It's too much.
No, I think it is too, and you're going to see here as well is we're going to talk about at least 3 teams that we are sitting at this 10.5 win total as well.
Yeah, and they're it's yeah. Maybe it's just me not being optimistic enough. It just feels like it's too much.
It feels like too much. Again, winning 3 of the 4 games that we've identified as 50-50 games. Is it possible? Can they at home? They're the 2 biggest teams that are coming into the horseshoe this year. Can they beat Texas week 1? Sure, anyone can be rusty week 1. Can they get the ball last against Penn State and pull out what everyone might, start the season see as an upset for Penn State? Sure. But it's a lot. I wouldn't want to put my money down on 11 right now. And it's almost shocking to hear that out of this group of guys here and doing this podcast. But
we're just trying to look at it from a reasonable level. We're not saying to not bet on Ohio State, but if you're going to take Ohio State to win the Big Ten conference is plus 195, right? If you bet on them to win over 10.5, that's negative 110, right? Negative 110, is that right?
Yeah.
So the odds just make more sense to you because you can lose that bet, the 10.5 bet, and still win the Big Ten because that Texas game screws you up because you could lose if Ohio State loses the Texas game, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean
it's
anything.
a wash. It's a wash.
Exactly. but you're automatically. But if they lose the Texas game, you are already sweating your balls off at the 10.5.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So that's where I kind of sit with that. But to each their own.
No, to each their own. And moving on to a team that was a big part of our win-loss total, big part of the Big Ten Conference, big part of the playoffs last year, Oregon. We got the Oregon Ducks also at a 10.5 over-under for regular season wins.
Yes.
Oregon, they've been lucky enough to keep intact some of their rivalries, of course, this year. No Ohio State on the schedule this year. They do have to travel to Happy Valley. Big Mackay Hughes from Tulane, 1,400 yards on the ground last year. Everyone's real excited for him. You've also got Dante Moore coming in, Phil for Dylan Gabriel. He's, the bee's knees. Everyone's excited for him. And, of course, Oregon ends their season at Washington for the season, or to wrap up their regular season. But, Josh, go ahead and give us our outlook here for this team.
Oh, you muted me. Then you unmuted me.
I realized – no, I can hear me echoing in yours, and I can mute you now when I'm talking. No, you good.
Got it. Okay. All right. Okay. So the first thing first, Dante Moore is going to be taking over at quarterback. Dante Moore was the quarterback at UCLA 2 years ago. Started as a true freshman, 4-star, five-star guy. He was up and down. Obviously, there's a lot of talent there. The good was good, the bad was bad.
Yeah.
So he's going to be taking over for Oregon after sitting behind Dylan Gabriel last year. Running back, you talked about Mackay Hughes, great. This might be the best running back room in college football because behind Mackay Hughes, you have Noah Whittington, who was very good last year, right? Was a very good reserve last year. So this running back room is top notch at Oregon. Receivers, you got Kyler Casper, DeCorian Moore, who is there's no Jeremiah Smith there, but he is this year's version of that. He's this year's okay, is this going to be the guy that pops, right? So everybody's kind of staring at him. You talk about Evan Stewart. Evan Stewart was supposed to be that guy. Busted up his knee. He's not that guy.
Yep.
So now you're looking at probably Gary Bryant Jr. Gary Bryant Jr. I think he was at USC, played very well last year, dealt with some injuries. Probably going to be taking on that new role. Tight end, Kenyon Sadiq is very, very good. Kenyon Sadiq is very, very good. That might not be shocking for him to be the number one receiver in that group. So that's what we're looking at there. On the offensive line, they brought in a couple big stud transfers. Emmanuel Pregnon at guard coming in from USC. Isaiah World coming in from Nevada. Ohio State tried to make a move for him, could not land him. Matthew Bedford from Indiana. I think he was actually there last year, right? Or was he? No, this will be his first year this will be his first year at Oregon. This will be his first year. Alex Harkey is also another transfer. I can't remember where Alex Harkey came from. Do you have that in front of you? Whatever.
I don't have
Alex Harkey's from Texas State. He's from Texas State. He's transferred like 3 times. I think he was at Colorado, then Texas State. Now he's at Oregon. And then Ayapani Lalulu is their returning center. That guy's actually very good. Yeah, all Big Ten caliber player there. So the offense is interesting, right? Because that offensive line has to mesh. You're breaking a new quarterback. It's definitely not a sure thing, and then you lose your best receiver in the spring. Definitely not a sure thing that this is going to be pumping. On the defensive side of the ball, they do have one of the best defensive I would say this is probably going to be a fringe early round draft choice. Mateo Ugalele, that's DJ's brother, and he's also very good. They have him in the stand-up role, pass rushing specialist. Very, very, very good player. So this might be the best defensive line in college football. Linebackers, Bryce Bocher is a very good linebacker. I think they brought in a transfer. Devin Jackson is going to be starting a linebacker. I know that they were pretty high on him. Defensive backs, who they got Theron Johnson. Theron Johnson, he's from another Big Ten school, if I remember right. But I can't remember where he's from. But that was another big time transfer. Dylan Thieneman, he was the other big time transfer. Everybody recognized him from Purdue. He was going to go to Ohio State and not. Yeah, that's pretty much it with as far as the talent there. Tatum Tuoti is another linebacker who's very impressive. So the defense is good. I would say the big concern on the defensive side of the ball for Oregon is their defensive backfield. Again, they're relying a lot on transfers to gel. They didn't do a lot of home. There's not a lot of homegrown talent there. I do think that is slightly concerning, but whatever. You want to roll into the schedule? Oh, looks like Chris is frozen. I'm going to go ahead and roll into the schedule, and he can interrupt as soon as he's back. Or maybe it's me frozen. I don't know. We'll see. So right off the rip, I'm seeing 4 wins. You have Montana State at home, Oklahoma State at home, at Northwestern, and Oregon State at home. There's a huge talent gap there. I think Oregon handles their business. Then we have 2 50-50 games, what I would consider 50-50 games. You're at Penn State going to Happy Valley. Okay, I honestly lean Penn State, just like with Ohio State. Penn State's returning a lot of talent. They're very, Penn State's the national championship favorite, basically, favorite to win the Big Ten. So I think that Oregon's going to struggle there. That's a 50-50 game at the very least. Then you get Indiana at home after getting your shit kicked by Penn State. Even if they win against Penn State, they're going to be exhausted. It's going to be a hard-fought game. And you got to you're getting Indiana, who's also a pretty tough team. I think that they beat Indiana. I do think that there's a pretty reasonable gap in talent, but I don't think that it's an easy win. Then you get Rutgers, Wisconsin. That's 2 easy dubs. Wisconsin at home at Rutgers. Then you travel out to Iowa. Iowa's very tough. Still your classic Kirk Ferentz Iowa tough team. I think that that's a 50-50 game. So has Chris texted me? I'm waiting for him to text me back. His power just went out. So looks like we might be finishing this solo. That's all right. Then we're going to finish the last 3 of the schedule: Minnesota, USC, at Washington. There's a pretty large gap there. I think Oregon handles all 3 of those. So let's go ahead. This is usually where Chris would talk, and then I would count while he's talking. But we're going to go ahead and do that together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 automatic wins. We have 9 automatic wins there. We have 3 50-50 games. They have to get to 11. So they have to win 2 of the 50-50 games, of the 3 50-50 games. I don't know if I'm against that. My money's against that. I'm not writing the book. I don't have my own money on this, but gun to my head, I'm probably taking the under. If I were going to bet on Oregon, if I wanted to put my hand in the Oregon pot, I think that the better bet would be Dante Moore to win the Heisman. Dante Moore to win the Heisman right now is plus 2,200. Okay. Theoretically, if Oregon were to win the Big Ten, because if Oregon wins 11 games, they're probably winning the Big Ten, right? Because they have to beat one of the let's say they beat Penn State, Indiana. Let's say they lose to Iowa. I don't know, one of those games. They can win the Big Ten, and then Dante Moore can take home a Heisman. He's going to have a great season for them to accomplish that feat. So I think that that's probably better money spent. But we'll get Chris's thoughts on that next week. I'm sure he's listening. All right, next schedule. Penn State. Let's go ahead and let's break down the Penn State roster. We're kind of all really familiar with that. Drew Aller, Ohio kid, former 5-star kid. Ohio State kind of didn't really even want. He's turned into be kind of a fringe first-round prospect at quarterback, at running back. You've got 2 guys that are absolute studs. This is probably the best running back from college football. I probably overspoke about Oregon. Both Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen are fringe All-American types. I think they're both 1,000-yard rushers. They're both going to be like top 5 in like Penn State rushing yards for their career. They bring in 3 transfer wide receivers, really trying to replenish that receiver room. Devontae Ross from Troy, Connor Hudson from USC, and then Tabor Pena from Syracuse. Pena, you guys will probably remember, he was the guy that was worked out all spring at Syracuse, and then he did a holdout. He was like the first holdout. I would consider him a holdout more than Nico. He wanted like $2 million, and then Fran Brown was like, no. And then he went to Penn State. So I don't know if he got that money, what the deal is. They also returned Liam Clifford. Liam Clifford is also pretty solid. I know that they lose. Oh my gosh, I don't remember the name of the tight end. Isn't that sad? Tyler Warren. They lose Tyler Warren. But Khalil Dinkins and Luke Reynolds are no joke at tight end. So this is a really okay receiver room. We have to assume that these wide receivers are going to step up or at least match their play from last year, and that has not been the case with the Penn State receiver recruits. They had the kid from Kent State who did shit. I think his name is Cephas. And then obviously you guys all are aware of Julian Fleming, who also did shit at Penn State. So they have a reputation for some reason, receivers falling off the cliff there. But I think this year might be different. The offensive line is also very strong. You got Drew Shelton, Ione. We talked about Ione at guard. We're on our College Football 26 show. He's one of the top-rated guys in the Big Ten in that video game. Nick Dawkins returns at center. Cooper Cousins is likely going to be a guard. Nolan Rucci, they get him for Wisconsin. It's a 4 or 5-star recruit who's very, very competitive, going to be drafted pretty early. If I were to say, if you were going to ask me, hey, Josh, what's the biggest issue with the Penn State offense? It probably would be receiver, which shows you how good the Penn State offense is going to be, because that's just because those guys have to gel, and Penn State has a terrible reputation for developing those receivers. But all those guys have produced to some degree. So we can expect them to be pretty okay. On the defensive side of the ball, the defensive line is very, very good, per usual. Danny Dennis-Sutton is going to be an All-American level player. Zane Durant on the interior is also going to be an All-American level player. Alonzo Ford's probably going to play. Zariah Fisher, those guys are okay. At linebacker, you got Dominic DeLuca. Tony Rojas is very good. That's an all Big Ten caliber linebacker there. And the defensive backfield, A.J. Harris, that was the transfer from Florida last year. Played very, very well last year. I'm expecting him to step it up even further this year. Probably going to be a fringe early round draft pick. Elliot Washington's probably going to be the other cornerback along with Zion Tracy. Zachy Wheatley comes back at safety. He was also very okay last year, and DeJuan Lane's probably going to be that other safety. So, the biggest issue with their defense is probably the linebackers. They don't have your classic Penn State, Paul Punzlowski, Dan Connor type, but Rojas is very good. There's not a lot of weaknesses on this Penn State team. Let's go ahead. Let's roll through the schedule. Right off the rip, we got 3 automatic wins in a row. Oh, man, wait, let me pull up the slides. Let me pull up the slides here. There we go. Chris will be so proud. Should have done this 5 minutes ago, but that's okay. Better late than never. All right, 3 wins in a row. You got Nevada at home, FIU at home, and Villanova at home. Villanova doesn't even play in the same division, so I feel like there's not going to be a whole lot of argument. Then you play Oregon at home. We talked about Oregon literally 3 minutes ago. We talked about that being a 50-50 game. I'm not going to go back on that. I do believe it's a 50-50 game. Again, gun to my head, I think Penn State gets the win. It's in Happy Valley. That's not going to be an easy place for Dante Moore to open up Big Ten play. But again, we'll put it as a 50-50 game. Then I think you get 3 easy dubs right in a row. At UCLA, Northwestern, at Iowa. Now, why would I have at Iowa not a 50-50 game for Penn State, but a 50-50 game for Oregon? Well, Penn State's closer to Iowa. It's Midwestern football. And Drew Allar's more experienced. Don't think that's going to be the same headache that it's going to be for Dante Moore and a West Coast Oregon team. Here's the big headache for Penn State. They play Ohio State on the back end of a back-to-back away stretch, right? I do think, gun to my head, I would take Penn State because there's just a lot of experience there. They seem to be going all in. We probably should mention Penn State loses Tom Allen, their DC, who was the former head coach at Indiana, who did wonders for that Penn State defense. He actually left for Clemson, but they replaced him with Jim Knowles, who was the defensive coordinator at our beloved Buckeyes, who won the national championship. Now, there's some controversy. This is a very polarizing hire, right? Jim Knowles has been on record saying, hey, it's going to be multiple years for my defense to work. Okay, so it seems like Penn State's going all in. So can you do it in 1 year? I'm thinking he can. I don't know. I don't think it's a huge upgrade, though. I do think it's probably a lateral step because Tom Allen did a lot of work there. But just throwing that out there now that we're on the Ohio State game. Again, I think that they win, but it's a 50-50 game. Then you get Indiana at home. After you have a tough battle, either win or loss, we know it's going to be a tough battle in Columbus. That's a 50-50 game, my friend. That's a 50-50 game. I think that they win, but that's a 50-50 game. Then you get 3 easy dubs in a row. At Michigan State, Nebraska, at Rutgers. Okay. So again, the DraftKings number is 10.5. Let's go through here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 9 easy wins right off the rip. Okay. We know we got 3 automatic wins. So that means we have 9 automatic wins. We got 3 50-50 games. They have to win 2 of those. That's the same situation we had with Ohio State a couple minutes ago. But here's the difference. Penn State isn't they're not trying to break in a new quarterback. They're just not. I think that they can get 2 of these wins. I really, truly do, especially when you get Indiana at home. So I am on the over on this one. Again, I don't know if I'm necessarily running to the book, but that would be something that I would be in. So that is our rundown. Hopefully next week, let's look what teams we got next week. Next week we got Purdue, fun. Rutgers, UCLA, and USC. Now, I think I have money on all four of those. So that'll be fun for us next week. Definitely give us a like, listen, comment. Check out our YouTube channel. We answer everything. Things that we're in flux here. I'm moving. Chris is not even in the country. So we're definitely trying to grow this thing, trying to move this thing forward, trying to be as informative and as helpful and as fun as possible. You can follow me on X at Josh Keatley 16. Chris is at C Running 15, C Running 15, I think. So yeah, definitely check us out. This is the Ohio State of Mind podcast, and hopefully Chris is not being bombed right now in a third world country. We are out of here.